My wife's grandfather had a dog. Got a dog. And they couldn't think of a name for a while for the dog. They called him Puppy. Just Puppy. He's just Puppy for now, right? I'm going to call him Puppy. The dog died 12 years later. Still called Puppy. Why do I tell this story? Because this is the podcast with a working title. Working title FC. This is what we're talking about right now. This is what you're listening to. It is a football podcast. You may know us from our previous iteration at the MKT show. Myself, Ryan, Senzo. We're back on the mic trying this. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can get people back interested. What was the secret sauce to the listenership before? Right, that's what we're going to try to find out.
And we're going to give you more of it.
We're going to give you more of that secret sauce.
And also, if you want to submit names that you think we should use. I mean, we are working title.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
But send your suggestions in.
Send your name suggestions for the show.
So, hashtag working title FC. And with your new name that you think we should be.
Are we going to give 1,000 rand to the listener?
Hey, bro.
That's a very sensitive topic, right?
Oh, it's what? So people are going to be trying to get it from us.
Senzo will do the audit on that one.
No. People are trying to be getting it from us. This is a new entity. This is a new partnership. Because you know when a partnership dissolves, when one of the members steps out, it's essentially a new partnership in business structures. So, yeah.
And, as Senzo said to me as we arrived at the studio today, 50% of nothing is still nothing. So,
Exactly.
So come at us. Come at us, bro.
You can have it.
Come at us, bro.
The title is still working. What do you think? Do you think the bank account is definitely still working? So.
We're doing season previews. Ryan wanted to say something and he stopped himself there.
I was going to say, try get 1,000 rand out of Senzo. Accounting Senzo. Let's go.
Accounting Senzo.
You can get it out of me, but I don't know if I'm going to give it to you.
Installments. So listen, we're reviewing the Premier League season in installments. Wherever you found this, look for the others. We're 4 in. We've done the bottom 3. We kind of did the guys who are lucky not to have got relegated. Now we're starting to look at the European contenders. We've done Wolves, Newcastle, and now we're about to get into Brighton, Leicester, and West Ham. We also spoke about Palace in a previous one. Very generous. We big fans of Palace. Big fans. Want them to do well. Brighton, unfair advantage, going to make the bad joke. Unfair advantage, they're 2 teams because they're both Brighton and Hove Albion.
Nice.
I love a team called Albion. I think that is so English. I used to play for Florida Albion. An English team must be called Albion, not football Albion. You must be Albion. What do you think, Senzo?
Or United.
Albion. Albion's the English way. Brighton, I mean, they're doing all the things. Great football.
Decent manager.
I mean, bloody the nose of the big boys. Good manager. Good squad. Started to score a few goals. They couldn't score goals before.
Now,
they've always been a Chelsea-like. I don't want to say a threat, but they've always made Chelsea-like. We always sort of draw.
They beat up the big boys.
Yes.
Definitely. You saw what they did to us.
Yep. Us being Manchester United, Senzo and I, we had the glory days. Senzo, I hope you had the glory days. You're a bit younger than me. I had the glory days. Best.
United.
Oh, best time.
Yeah, 13 times.
Teenager, I had the best times.
Oh, I also had the best times.
Now it sucks. Now it's not the best.
United stopped being United when I was 23. And,
And how old do you know?
I'm 32.
Hey.
But I've seen United win everything under the sun, so.
You see, I had a good run. I had 13 to 38. The age of 13 to the age of 38.
You see, I had it from about 6, 7, 23.
So those are my prime drinking years at United were dominant. That's
right.
So that was pretty good. So let's get into Brighton. They like blooding the nose of the big boys. Mark Cucurella, that's the outstanding player. I saw him in the...
Man City got their bid rejected, £30 million, because Brighton won 50.
And do you think they're not going to get it?
They won 50 million for
50 million
for Cucurella. No,
stranger
things have happened.
No, not stranger things, guys.
You guys
no Millie Bobby Brown. No Millie Bobby Brown, by the way.
So listen here with Mark Cucurella, right? I saw this dude last summer the Olympic tournament, right? Yeah. And I was like, this guy is the thing. He started at left back, most time he's centre midfield.
Yeah.
Barcelona player from the Masia, totally computes. Tell me.
Oh, that's why Pep wants him.
Exactly. That a guy that starts at left back but ends up in centre midfield is not a Pep player. And the best hair in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this kind of hair before.
Yeah.
David Luiz has kind of done it.
He's Carlos Puyol-esque.
Cucurella takes it. He's next level. Fellaini had a bit of it.
But do you think they get their 50 million?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it's La Masia there.
And also, look, I mean, we'll talk about Arsenal later and City, but they've lost their left back. They lost a left back.
Zinchenko.
They need to replace. If Pep loves a fullback,
yeah.
Why are you going to minimize Cancelo and move him over? City going to get it. And listen, if you're City and you want to dominate and you've gone and spent, you got a deal on Haaland. You got Haaland for nothing. You got money in the bank.
Yeah.
You got money in the bank.
How much they end up getting him for? 40 odd.
Oh, it's a stupid deal.
Just touching 50.
Yeah, some stupid deal.
Yeah.
So I think they get Cucurella, which hurts Brighton a lot.
Yes.
Because he is so crucial to what they do. Because of that, he starts in one position. He ends up midfield.
And they lost Basuma as well.
And they've lost Basuma. That is the next one I want to touch on to Tottenham. Basuma is like, if United had the eye off the ball because new manager, they should have been watching Basuma. They should have been in day one getting him. Likewise, Arsenal. Hey, even Chelsea.
Yes.
Even Chelsea. The guys can do their job everywhere. So Brighton have lost two. Well, they're going to lose Cucurella, let's be honest. That's the club they are. Is this a season to just go back and revert to normal for them? Graham Potter is going to be tested because he's been building this out for a while. And to lose two key parts of that, still got Danny Welbeck to drag him through.
And also now, if you're Brighton, first assignment, what do? United at Old Trafford.
Oh, so okay.
I wouldn't want to go there.
They get 3 points on the board.
Nah, I reckon we smash Brighton.
No ways. There's no ways.
What do you feel like losing?
Want to put $100 on it?
What do you feel like losing? $100.
$100.
United smash Brighton 3-0 at home, Old Trafford.
Okay, we've just seen a handshake there. I will officiate it.
Yeah, I will officiate
you're the handshake commissioner.
I'm the handshake commissioner. Listen, Brighton, I think it's a season of consolidation. If you're losing both Cucurella and Basuma in the same season,
it's not the same.
You know what? You can have that money in the bank.
It's not the same.
And I think Basuma went for free or very little. He was in the last year.
Let's check.
We're going to check that out. I don't think they made that much money. I think for Brighton, if they can kind of consolidate, finish 10th, 11th place, they've done well for themselves, having lost something they've been building for a while.
25 million pounds, which could rise to 35 million. So you've got about,
and that's not to
60,
spend now.
70.
So you got 25 there. You're going to get 50 for Cucurella.
50, 40-ish.
75 million. Are you replacing? And what you replace, do they kick in straight away? Listen, Brighton are at that level. They do buy very well. Tariq Lamptey,
yes.
If he stays fit, that's another good season. I still don't see them scoring enough goals to make a difference. Let's jump into the next team in this. Leicester, old brother Brendy Rodgers.
I think he's losing his luster.
You also think so? I think it's done.
You think it's done as well?
I think it's done with him.
You think? Because now I think Tielemans wants to go. Because Tielemans shouldn't have.
Tielemans is going.
Tielemans shouldn't have been there to begin with.
So we're talking about Tielemans. Tielemans, yes. He is always up for grabs. He's always up for grabs. He is bigger. Should be at a bigger club than Leicester.
Right?
He's got that ability. United are sniffing around. Arsenal sniffing around.
I think United are sniffing around only if this, which is already a dumpster fire. If the De Jong thing doesn't happen, then who's to say?
We'll talk United later, but I don't understand why you don't have both. I mean, Tielemans is up for grabs at 30 million. Roundabout, that's what they're saying.
But they're saying Leicester. But they're saying. But now that's the interesting thing, because now he still has to have talks with Brendan Rodgers. So if he goes to Brendan Rodgers,
okay.
Yeah, and like now they're not saying everything he wants to hear, and he's like, I'm going to leave. Leicester definitely going to be like, okay, he's got a year left, let's cash in now.
Of course they're going to do that. That's why it's so cheap.
But that could rise to 50 though.
Well, listen.
No, but that's United money.
But that's Chelsea could also. Arsenal could also pay like 50 for it.
No, but see, Arsenal's waiting for the season to start, and then.
But Arsenal paid £72 million for Nicolas Pepe.
No, I'm not ruling it out, but I'm saying Arsenal haven't placed a bid yet because they're just waiting.
But do Arsenal really need him?
No, they don't need him. But that's why if they can get him on a decent deal.
Tielemans is a clever player. Everyone finds a reason to have him. You
yeah.
may not need him, but he'll give you a reason to have him.
He's got the pace, right?
No, he's just very technically.
He's very technical, good passer.
He's very technical.
He's more technical. Okay.
His challenge, I think, what his problem is, he's actually too full-rounded. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's not one type of midfielder. He's all of them together.
He can be what you need him to be.
And perfect at all of them. So you kind of look at do
Do you know he's the quintessential 8?
Yeah, 100%.
He's the number 8. Yeah.
And you underrate him a lot.
Yes.
Because he's so good at everything that he actually never stands out. That
Because he also-
you know what I mean? It sounds
the role
weird.
that he plays for Leicester, you see him play for Belgium, but he's always on the team sheet for Belgium. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's very strange. It's a very strange player that's so good he doesn't stand out because he never does anything wrong or any reason for you to look at him. The rest of that Leicester team, I mean, Jamie Vardy, are we still going to the well for Jamie Vardy goals?
Nah, he's done.
You really think so?
They need to.
He'll still score.
That's what we said last season.
I'm telling you, he'll still score.
Hey, Oaks, for the time. For the time. Vardy is what he is. I think Vardy's an irritation to other teams more than anything.
Yeah, and that's why he does score his goals. Listen, I'm looking at Leicester. I've not seen anything. Ryan, in terms of transfers, there's nothing out of the Leicester that's coming in at Leicester that makes you sit up and pay attention. And we're not saying Leicester aren't going to do blockbuster signings, right? That's not the way. That's not the game they play. But there's not even the kind of clever signings. I mean, you still got James Maddison, Harvey Barnes is still in there, Iheanacho, Ndidi. I mean, it's still a solid, good squad. Kasper Schmeichel, good goalkeeper, good goalkeeper. But I think it all comes down to Brendan Rodgers. I think he would have expected to have moved by now. You know, he rates himself.
I'm sure you would have had his eye on the United.
United, Arsenal. I think when he came back down from Celtic, he was like, "Let me prove myself here." Great, wins the FA Cup, has a nice run in Europe. I should get one of those, and he doesn't. And I think he's kind of gone, okay.
You're right there. They've knocked the stuffing out of him.
A move to international management. I think that's next in line for him.
Where though?
Wales after the World Cup. You know, Ireland, Northern Ireland. Belgium seem to be left field.
Also, the thing is, you know, with the World Cup coming, there's a thing that happens where a guy is brought in just on the World Cup basis, and then we'll think about it. Well, I don't know. I think Brendan Rodgers is at a crossroads in his career now.
Yeah. It seems you kind of got the sense of it. A few weird things you're saying last season. His whole confusion, no one understood the Europa Conference League. But I think, you know, I think what it comes down to is how inspired is he? Can he get another season out of some of these players?
I think he's the legs for it. Like, for him, it's become a permanency now. It's not exciting anymore. And
he's only been there a short while. Ryan, anything interesting on transfers for Leicester that we got to pay attention to?
I found one. I'm not sure if it's gone through. There's they're considering an offer for the Middlesbrough midfielder Marcus. Is it Tavernier?
Yeah. Look,
but there's no deals that are going. It's all Yuri Tielemans going out. That's pretty much all the headlines.
Yeah, that's all they knew. Is like that's.
Yeah. And listen, let's.
You think they'll cash out on it?
I would not.
You got to, else you lose him for free.
I think he's just. How old is Tielemans as well?
Oh, nice age is 26 or so.
27. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the perfect age.
Do you think he made an impact when he came in?
Of course he did.
Yeah, listen, the guy's class. Tielemans is
they don't win the
class.
FA Cup without him.
Yeah.
And didn't he score that blockbuster in there? Yeah, he did score that cracker.
He did. No, Tielemans is class. Listen, we'll talk about United later, but I would love him. I don't know why United have got to wait for the Frankie de Jong deal to fall apart. Tielemans is
honestly, I would have taken that first.
Yeah. Finish that. Wrap that up.
And you can see that he's the type of guy that Ten Hag could work with.
Oh, yeah. Anyone kind of trained in that, anyone kind of that Anderlecht background is very similar to the Ajax school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Leicester, consolidation, James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy. There is a hell of a lot expected of you because there's nothing coming in to support Yuri Tielemans, probably out the door.
And if I can remember correctly, what's up with Ndidi? Is he still injured?
Not that I know of, but I think that is the thing with Ndidi. He has those periods where he'll miss a few games.
Yes.
But Ndidi
he's so crucial.
Ndidi as well must be seeing what Tielemans is doing. Is like, also, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
I should be playing for a bigger club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's probably looking at like Arsenal or like a London club and being like, maybe I could go try my hand out there. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to play for a club like Leicester, I might as well go to West Ham as well because London. They're taking Europe a little bit more seriously. Let's get on to West Ham because Leicester's boring the snot out of me. Yeah, so no.
I mean, who you even fantasy team wise, who do you put on? James Maddison, and you don't bank on him because he costs a lot because he's English.
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes is solid for fantasy league. Harvey Barnes is solid. You see, we can't even put a fantasy league player.
By the way, have
Jamie
you
Vardy's too
done
expensive.
your fantasy league?
So I've started like building my wish list. So as I see a player, I go, oh, let me put him in, let me slot him in. You don't go now.
Yeah, no, not even.
You don't go now. It's too early now.
Going on the 4th of August, boy.
That's what you got to do. And listen, you got to have, if we're going to talk about that, Haaland and Gabriel Jesus up front. Straight
already
up.
done.
Straight
already
up.
Done.
Haaland
I
and
don't know.
Jesus.
I'm
Those
not
are your
going-
strikers.
I'm not going there.
Okay, you're not doing that. Where did you finish last season? I think you
No,
bombed out.
Yeah, no, you did
you were fired by the World Cup.
Yeah, no, yeah. Because I put all my hopes on Ronaldo.
What should we do? Hey, listen, if this catches fire, and this is up to you, we'll do a fantasy league
And let's call it a working title.
working title FC. You know what? We should play the draft one. You know, you get the
I haven't
draft.
done the draft one.
Yeah, so you get the draft one
Okay.
where you make a pool, okay, of friends or whatever. There's only one of each player in play, like in real life. So there'll only be one person can get Haaland. And you can trade off as you set your team, and then you don't change your squad for the season.
That's difficult, though.
It's
Yeah, no, that is
people
very
have played as hella hard.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Have you? Do you know what I think of that as? Have you ever played Champions League fantasy?
Yeah, that's impossible.
Champions League fantasy is
It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's moronic. Yeah,
I struggle with it.
it's moronic.
no. I did quite well, and then it's just like now you don't have any more players anymore. You're just like, who the hell am I supposed to pick?
I'm a United fan. I don't give a shit about Champions League anymore.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
finish off. We're going through all 20 teams in the
But
Premier
have you
League.
seen Leicester's? Coming back to West Ham. Have you seen their fixture list?
No.
Are we on Leicester or West Ham?
West Ham. Because Leicester bought the slot.
Yes. So let's get into West Ham, right?
So-
David Moyes, the Messiah.
First and foremost, they go to City. Well, City comes to them.
Oh,
first
right.
thing. Then they've
Rather
got,
have City at you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then they have Nottingham Forest after that. Then they have Brighton. Then they have Villa. Then Tottenham, Chelsea.
it's not bad.
It's
It's not bad.
tough.
But if they don't do well, you see that Brighton Villa thing. If they don't do well against that, and then you're going to Chelsea, you're going to Tottenham, and you're like, oh shit, our backs are on the ropes already. Then you got 2 London derbies that you don't particularly want to play.
But West Ham are good at those.
They are good
right?
at London derbies, actually.
They are good at those. So what I want to quickly say is, I've said it before. I'll say it a million times, and no one can ever prove me wrong. But I still maintain that if Manchester United had stayed with David Moyes through the whole contract they'd given him, we would not have done better or worse. It would have been exactly the same. At
As
least
we are now.
exactly the same. I don't think we would have won more,
I
one
don't think
less.
so.
Also,
If David Moyes had stayed, you got consistency, let the guy build, we would not have done, we would still not be in the Champions League this year.
yeah,
We would
but-
still not have
But now
won
you
the
can
league,
fetch your blockbuster now.
right?
You're on the money with consistency. That's
Right.
for sure.
So that's what we should have done. So let's get into current incumbent. David Moyes, despite who's he going to bring in, there's a couple of interesting names linked with them. I don't think they've got anyone properly over the line yet, Ryan. You're going to confirm with us in a second. Their big wins, Declan Rice and Jared Bowen, are still there.
Yeah, they're holding on to Declan Rice. Like,
Oh, because they're going to slap because they want to slap £100 million on him.
So, you're kind of, was he susceptible at City? They go get Phillips. Chelsea, there's not really a place for him right now. And Chelsea want blockbuster. New ownership, he wants to swing his deck, right?
And United aren't going to pay £100 million for another Maguire.
Not right now, right?
Yeah.
Ten Hag will get desperate. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's
right?
coming.
Everyone's acting sensible. He'll get desperate. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. And then Jared Bowen, so long connected to Liverpool, but it looks like they've kind of got that position filled. So for David Moyes, those are big wins
Yeah.
of keeping those two. Mikel Antonio, oh my God, the guy doesn't get through another season with only Mikel Antonio up front. I know they linked to a couple other strikers.
Armando Boha.
What is it about this guy? What is it? Is he the new Piazon? Remember Piazon from Chelsea?
Yeah.
You were supposed to be the guy.
But it's because it's Lille, and Lille, they've got this thing now and all that, and Lille, you look at the players that come out of Lille, they might be thinking, next house up. But hey, man, they've got the Tom. I mean, they've paid more for less.
Yeah.
I mean, with that Felipe Anderson dumpster fire.
Oh my God. Remember that. Listen, they've also bought some shit through the door. They're at West Ham, the Dildo brothers. You ever hear that story? Why they
No, I didn't.
So, the Leicester owners, one of them, I think both of them, but kind of made their money out of the porn industry.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was through video cassettes and they had sex shops, and that's how they made their initial money. So when they were trying to buy William Carvalho from Sporting, they also came in completely, excuse the pun, lowballed Sporting. And the Sporting president, who was wild at the time, the Sporting president, go look up the story, had the fans allowed them into the locker room to beat up some players. He said, I'm not going to be have the Dildo brothers come in here and undervalue my players.
Honestly.
So, but listen, they put in the money in, kind of, the West Ham fans are calm.
Yeah.
A lot of that unrest and that noise has kind of calmed down.
They got European football.
But it's still there.
It's bubbling under. Get it?
This bubbling under. This is Green Street hooligans.
Yeah.
If they're not going to fight Millwall and Chelsea fans, they're going to fight someone.
Yeah, but they take American Express.
You've got to keep the fans happy. You got to keep Kurt Zuma from kicking cats.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
True. That's true.
That's if David Moyes keep the cats out the dressing room, keep Kurt Zuma happy.
Frodo. David Moyes, old Frodo.
But it seems in terms of the transfer market, they've just landed Flynn Downs.
It's not
Well, get his name on a shirt.
So and then he's also just linked with
sounds like
Frodo.
a hobbit. He sounds like someone from the
Flynn Downs,
Lord of the Rings.
Well, he's with Frodo.
Isn't he
Flynn
from
Downs
your
from
team,
the
Senzo?
Flynn Downs.
Yeah.
Flynn Downs from the
he's
Shire.
Swansea, bro.
Oh.
Flynn Downs is from Swansea.
Listen,
Flynn Downs. That guy definitely sounds like Welsh.
David Moyes. Listen, David Moyes has always done well with that. He kind of like finds these unpolished gems. Like when you're signing guys from Swansea and you really want to make a run back into the Europa League and keep fans happy.
But they want to sign Gianluca Scamacca from Sassuolo.
So to
The
talk
guy
about,
who's been compared to they're calling him the next Zlatan.
hey man, listen here. I got to think about Italian strikers, right? We've all seen them. We've seen Bellotti. We've seen these big Immobile, these big number 9 Italians. They do not travel well.
They hate it.
They take it. They go to Dortmund. They'll go to. Scamacca's linked to PSG.
Yeah.
Who PSG just want to loan everyone because of their financial fair play situation.
Yeah.
So they don't travel well, and he'll be another one. He'll be another one that's going to come in, struggle, go back to Italy, Atalanta or something, score 1 million goals.
Yeah.
Then get, be in the Italian team at 36 years old. They just keep doing the same thing. So.
But my thing is like now, because like you see now Italian. Oh snap! Never mind. Out the window. I thought they was going to say World Cup, but they didn't make that. Shout out to North Macedonia.
Sorry to my Italian friends. Listen, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Anything you want to close off on any of these teams? Any final thoughts on them?
Do you think teams like Brighton, like this crop of teams, Brighton, Leicester, and West Ham? Why do you think that their model, like, what would be paramount? Because they're far, let's be honest, they're far from Champions League football.
So they're rich. They are, all of those, you're going to go look at the list of the top 50 richest clubs in the world. They're all on it.
Sure.
They're stable, full stadiums, own their grounds. These clubs are rich. Okay. Their role is to go and find the Tielemans, the kind of guys that the big clubs aren't sure about. Give them the chance, get 3 or 4 good seasons out of them, and sell them for 50, 70, 80 million. That's what their role is. On the way, hopefully get some Europa League, have a run at a cup. Kind of what Leicester have done.
So they model it on Leicester. So Leicester do a Leicester again.
The middle class in the Premier League. It's the rising middle class.
Yeah, man.